Hello, 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 and welcome to the DJ Force 10 in Conversation podcast, episode 109. Yes, we're up to 109, and it is Thursday, as I am recording this. So yeah, this is out today, and I am speaking with Paul from Devilskin on this episode. An absolute brilliant interview, a lot of insight into their songwriting process, a lot of passion and home sort of experience and things like that going into it, and they're all the way out of New Zealand, so they're quite far away, but they have been to England a few times, I found out. But I obviously missed them the times they were here, but I'm going to definitely go see them when they come over again. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the interview as much as I did. It was an absolute pleasure to speak to Paul, and I hope you've been enjoying this kind of influx of interviews that I've been doing. Now that these guys are at home, they haven't got much to do. They haven't got to go out and prepare for a tour or anything, unfortunately, but they are ready and willing to promote their releases. In fact, Devilskin have their album out tomorrow. That is April 3rd, for those who are listening to it after that date. The album is called Red. They are releasing it themselves. They're an independent band, but they've got great distribution. They'll be on all the major streaming platforms and everything like that, and physical copies will be available. They might take a little bit of time to get to you, but they will be available. So do support these bands. Every band that I've spoken to this week, go out and support them, including Don Jameson, the stand-up comedian, Master Boot Record. Again, that was a fantastic interview. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yesterday's one with Sydney Fate, another highly enjoyable chat with those three guys. They've got an album out on Friday as well. So have your sort of streaming services at the ready. And if you are so inclined to pick up a physical copy of their albums, please do. And I'll have plenty more interviews coming their way. I've got a whole bunch in the vault, and then we're going to start off next week. Actually, let's go for tomorrow. Tomorrow I have got Motive Black, Alana, the singer from the band. They are promoting their new single at the moment, but we'll talk about more on that on tomorrow's podcast. But again, it was an absolute pleasure to speak to her. But I've got things like Maud the Moth coming up, Gold, Frankincense and Myrrh, August Burns Red, Gus G, Cold Bones, and just more lined up, ready to chat to me. And I've already got some in the vault as well. I'm going to have Shattered Skies, Psycho Stick. Not any giving you any kind of spoiler alerts, but I've already mentioned Randy from Lamb of God. I've got Chris from Acid Mammoth as well. They're a fantastic band out of Greece. And so many more, so many more. I've probably forgotten something, but you'll hear about it as soon as I record it. And I'm going to be releasing these every day, apart from Saturdays and Sundays. Just purely so I've got proper time with the family and everything, because at the moment my daytime is used up with teaching them or teaching the kids stuff if they need to be taught, and also work stuff as well, because I am working from home. So but these are coming in because you guys are around. These artists need support, or they just want to get their music out there to help you guys as well. So if you do find any solace in any of the music that we have been promoting today, let the band know. Tell them that it's working for you, and it means the world to them, and it makes everything worth it, really, even these times we're in right now where we are in a forced lockdown situation. But we are going to kick off now with Paul from Devilskin. Enjoy.
Hello, Barnaby.
Hello, Paul. How you doing?
Oh, fantastic. What a great line. Oh, my gosh. I've never heard my phone sound so good.
Excellent.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you guys doing?
It's kind of crazy and surreal over here. You know, we're in lockdown, so you're not really allowed out of your house. Yeah, it's pretty freaky. Yeah, very freaky.
We're the same here. It's yeah, it's weird. I'm actually venturing out today for the first time just to drop some stuff off to my in-laws because they've run out of a few things. But yeah, no, it's just weird.
It's weird, and you know, all these musicians are sort of stuck and captive with themselves. So, you know, hopefully it's going to spark a renaissance of amazing music in a few months' time when the dust settles. You know,
I really hope so. I mean, there's a lot coming out at the moment. Obviously, you guys got something coming out, but there's a lot of like stuff being produced as well. A lot of bands doing like special kind of live things over various medias. But I really hope it will. It like it's one of those things where, I mean, out of sort of, I guess it is tragedy to a point, will come like a lot of like special art, like in whatever form, be it, you know, painted, music, poems, whatever.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
you know, and that's what I'm hoping for. So.
Yeah, I'm just really hoping it's going to be over quickly and we can all get you know, back to doing what we want to do.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, probably like yourselves, you've had like gigs cancelled and.
Oh yeah, we totally had the rug pulled from under us, but you know, so did the whole world. So
yes,
you know,
it's not you're not alone on that front, and it's
and at the end of the day, it's, you know, people's health is way more important than entertainment. So whichever way you look at it, so you know, it's just. You just pull your head in, you wait, and you just hope for the best, and you look out for each other, eh?
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's what I mean. I've had like a run on interviews recently, purely because everyone's at home, and you know, there are a lot of people out there that are, you know, saying that this will, you know, there's hopefully their art form will help people through.
Definitely. I mean,
you know, knowing.
Sorry,
it's all right.
In times like this, we need music more than ever. You know, we need to soothe our souls, and we need to heal, and we need to be able to cope with everything and look after our own mental health. And you know, music's so important for people. And yeah, it's a great time to stop and pause and do some listening to some great music.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I've been doing. I've been sort of like just going through like bands that I haven't like gotten to yet, kind of thing, because I get, obviously being on the radio and stuff like that, you get loads of promos and usually I listen to them in my car. You know, I'll hook up my my phone in the car and just when I'm driving to work and stuff, and I'll have it on. But because I haven't had a chance to do that, I've really had a chance to kind of sit down in my own little hole and and sample a lot of these bands, including your own.
Right, great.
Which is why we are here today. That segue. It's almost like I'm professional. But yeah, no, I mean your album's great. I got an advance copy of it, and yeah, it's a great album. I was kind of not surprised by it, but you know, like I really enjoyed it. I think the better words are for it. I've had it on a couple of times, amongst other stuff as well. And when I heard your single, I saw the video for Corrode and stuff, and it's really good. Really good.
Cool, man. I'm so glad you enjoy it, Corrode. The video for that, I mean, that was the most grueling thing we've ever done as a band, I think. We've done some
I was
going
to ask. It looked pretty, yeah.
It was awful. It was so uncomfortable. Yeah, we had to be submerged in this freezing cold pool of red, thick, gloopy water, paint, dye, and corn flour. And at the studio that we had, there was no shower there, and they didn't tell us to after we were covered in this stuff, man. It was real bad. And anyway, they said, we've got one of these camping showers. We'll get a guy up a ladder and he can hold it up and you strip off and get inside. It was freezing. We filmed this in the middle of winter in Auckland. And, of course, he goes to help us out by putting hot water in his watering can and tipping it over us. And, of course, hot water and corn flour, you made us all into pikelets pretty quick. And it was just, oh my God, it just set. And I look like something out of Pirates of the Caribbean with my beard. It was just like globs of red glop in it for weeks. I had red stuff coming out my eyes, and it was traumatic. But man, I'm so stoked the video came out looking as spectacular as it does.
Yeah, it looked really good. I was going to ask you how long that took to get out of your sort of system or in your skin.
We had to throw away all our clothes and guitars and everything that we used in that video because it was just ruined.
Bloody hell! Wow.
Oh yeah, but the cool thing about it, the video director that we used, because we sent the song out to like 4 or 5 of our favourite video directors over here in New Zealand, and we got this treatment back from Alex Hargraves, who made the video for us, and we hadn't told her that the album was going to be called Red, that the whole theme for the album was red, and it was supposed to be immersive. We didn't mention any of that to her. And she came back with this treatment, and it was, wow, this is everything that we're aiming at for the album. The whole, she goes, I want this big red wall with you guys just coming out of it. And wow. So there's a few things that have just clicked into gear with this album, that just everything feels right and meant to be, So we just feel, really, really confident with what we've recorded and the way that we're presenting it.
Awesome. And it's out on the 3rd of April. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not far away, about a week away.
That's right.
And is it available on all platforms? As in,
yes, it will be. Yep. We obviously we can't ship physical copies just yet because there's no shops open and stuff. But it's all across all digital platforms and everyone's favourite platforms. They'll be able to find us pretty easily.
Cool.
So we're very, very grateful to be able to do that. And times like we've got right now.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, having this digital platform is fantastic. I mean, it's one of those things, back sort of 20 years ago, didn't really have that. So if this happened then, it would have ground to a halt, really.
Yeah, totally.
Even like live streaming stuff wasn't a thing. So yeah, no, we're quite fortunate. It's quite like, even though like some of the digital platforms get a bit of a beating occasionally, just for the financial side of things, but in times like this,
they're so convenient for everyone.
Yeah, and they're like, at the moment, a lot of them are obliging with like longer free trials and stuff like that as well. So that can only benefit the artists. I know Bandcamp did a no, they didn't take any of their cut for a certain day.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. The human spirit, and especially the musical fraternity, the wider musical fraternity. It's a lot of solidarity and a lot of just support for each other, and it's really good, really cool to see in times like this.
Yeah, it's amazing. And with your album, as it was earlier, it's called Red. Are you releasing that through? Have you got your own label for that one, or is it through through another label?
No, we've been doing it all ourselves. We're totally independent, and we always have been. It's just something that we're fiercely protective of. Everything, our songs and everything. And I guess we probably haven't received the right offer yet, but it's just been better to have do everything ourselves. And we've just been that way right from the very start. We always have.
It's a good.
When we first started gigging, we're playing in really tiny little rooms and stuff, and we'd spend all day decorating the stage and making it look red, hanging all these red curtains up and making it look, different and drawing people's attention to it and stuff. And as the shows got bigger and more people came along, we just invested more in the show, and everything's sort of been quite an organic sort of growth from there. But it's where we are today. We're extremely lucky that we've got quite a broad fan base across the globe. We were fortunate enough to tour Europe with Hailstorm a year and a half ago, and fantastic. We've toured with Slash, toured Australia with Slash and stuff, and it's just been really good. The rock crowd is just strong. Rock's strong at the moment, I think.
Did you manage to hit the UK on that European tour?
Yes, we did before Hailstorm.
Okay.
Before we joined up with them in Europe, we played over there with, who the heck was it? I can't recall who we toured with. We've been to UK 5 times now, and we always have such a great time. And of course, it's the sacred holy land of hard rock and heavy metal, isn't it? So
it is,
just for us to walk the streets of London and to go to Birmingham and Manchester and all these amazing places where all our favourite artists came from, it's a pretty magical experience.
Yeah, I know. I must have. I definitely missed that because I went to go see Hailstorm when they played over here about a year and a half ago, and I think they had Avatar and.
That's right. Yeah,
Ruse, I think the other band were. But yeah, obviously you guys went on that part of it. Unfortunately, otherwise I would have seen you.
That's right.
But I haven't caught you guys live yet, and if you've been over here 5 times, I've obviously missed it. But
I'll send you a personal invite next time.
Yes, do it. Next time you're in the UK.
Problem.
I'm sort of in and around London. Well, I'm on the outskirts of London, but like South London. But yeah, it's yeah, definitely. I'm making more of an effort to go to shows these days. So, and it's like it's just one of those things that I've missed out on over the years. I didn't live in the UK for, well, I did for the first 30 years of my life, but then I moved to the USA and then moved back again.
Oh wow!
So I kind of like skipped a few, but did a few gigs over there. Like went to see like bands that would normally play huge venues in tiny venues. So,
oh wow!
Which is
awesome.
Absolutely amazing. Like Machine Head in a 400 capacity venue.
Stop it!
doing their like evening with Machine Head, so it was just them. And Deftones in a sort of, it's an open air venue, but it was like tiny. It was like 2,000 capacity. And Arctic Monkeys and stuff like that. Like huge bands here. Cost me like $15 there to go see them. So I know it's crazy, isn't it? But yeah, no, it's no, I'll be checking you guys out. I want to see your live show because you come across on the record really good, and that video was just immense. I mean, like I say, like you said, you went through quite a lot to make that video, and you can tell that video wasn't an easy one, like visually, you know. But you guys did it, and you pulled it off. So. It's really good.
Yeah, thanks, man. And I don't know if you've seen the video that we did for. There's another song on the album Red called Endo, and it was the first single we released off the album. And we'd written the music, and we were sort of chugging away with it at rehearsal. And Jenny came up with these lyrics, and she'd just been diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis.
Oh.
And she had to have like emergency surgery. She was ill. She was really ill, and you know, endometriosis is a horrible thing, and it affects so many women. And Jenny had written these lyrics, and I said, hey, if we record this song, it's going to be pretty personal. Are you happy to talk and sing about this, you know? And she goes, hell yeah. More people need to be aware of it. It's horrible. And we didn't, you know, we never had any agenda to you know, to push any cause or anything like this, but we just couldn't help but raise a little bit of awareness for the thing for endometriosis. I looked into it, and here in New Zealand, the average time from first symptoms to actual diagnosis is 17 years.
Yes.
You know, so there's all these sick women, and it's terrible, and they're all feeling pain, and it's hideous. And Jenny just put it all out there in the song, and we've had so much feedback from women saying, "Oh my God, you're talking my language. This is what I'm going through. It's hell."
Yeah.
And we wanted the video to be totally confronting as well. We wanted, you know, visually arresting. So yeah, we had a white studio, and they said, we hired out this white studio. They said, if you put a mark in it, it's going to cost this much. Now, if you actually spill anything on it, it's going to cost this much. And we went, oh, okay. So how much to paint the whole place, repaint it after we're done? And we just paid for that, and we just had buckets and buckets of blood tipped over us, and we were wearing white suits, and it was. I look at it now and I still go, man, Jenny's so brave, just being able to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, you know, for what it's worth, you know, we're happy to and try and, you know, if people want to become aware and ask about the song, we're just only too happy to talk to them about it. And and it's made a lot of women feel not so alone with it. I think
I didn't realize I hadn't seen the video for it, so I hadn't sort of clicked.
Check it out. It's our Slayer moment, you know. Everyone wants to make a Slayer video, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
But it's all done in the best possible taste.
Obviously, I like that quote. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the album. All the songs on the album actually are pretty real for us. Pretty, you know, it's all true life stories. Yeah. There's a song called The Victor, and we'd been away for a songwriting retreat at this remote beach, and we were coming back in the middle of nowhere, and we come around a corner and come across this horrific car crash. Oh. And there was children thrown out of the car, and it's just such a mess, man. It was, you know, we just kicked into gear and did what we could to help till the emergency services came, but man, it was traumatic for everyone. Thankfully, no one was killed. But it was, pretty touch and go for a while there, and we all sort of, you know, it affected us terribly, all of us, and we all sort of had trouble coping with it. And for me, I just wrote this song, and it was about sort of holding someone's child in my arms, and he didn't speak English, and he was cut and bleeding, and didn't know if his family was dead or alive. I'm trying to soothe them, you know, and well, some heavy stuff, and for me it was cathartic to be able to put it down in a song. And when the guy said, "Hey, there's something going on here. This is a great song," and it was like, wow, well, just put it on the album, and it just sort of clicked into gear with everyone. And it's my favourite drum performance on the album. Actually, I think Nick's drumming on that song is outstanding. And it's a nice moment for us to be able to do this. It's still heavy for us to think about and to talk about and stuff, but we all feel a little bit sort of better doing our bit and immortalising it in our music, sort of thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, if you can put that, because a lot of people can't process those sort of things,
exactly
in a methodical manner or even in any kind of manner, and sometimes it comes out as aggression or it comes out as something else, but you've obviously managed to channel that into songwriting, which is absolutely amazing. And it takes a lot to actually get something down on paper, if you will, at least, but yet, you go through that sort of therapeutic moment, I guess, every time you perform that song.
Yeah, you seriously do, Barnaby, and it's like, it's weird. It's definitely helps with the processing of stuff like that, and you find people later on that go, "Hey man, the song that you wrote, I really connect with it," because and they can identify with the feelings in it and stuff like that. And when you find out that you're really touching people with your music, it's really humbling and an amazing feeling. We've had people come up to us at shows and show us the scars on their arms and say, "Hey, look, I was trying to cut myself to death until I heard your album and these songs spoke to me, and I stopped with that and it got my life together." And holy crap, it's pretty humbling when you find people like that and you hear stories like that.
Yeah.
But we're all music fans and we all dive into our favourite artists' songs and live and breathe them. When you're listening to the music, you really identify with it and get hooked into it. And for other people to say that they get that out of our music, still a really special feeling that I don't think you could take that for granted.
No, definitely not. It's certainly. I've been on the sort of like creative end of things. I was in a band for a while, and I've had the same sort of thing. People come up to me and say your music had changed me or had helped me through.
Yeah, man, that's what keeps us going as musicians, right?
Yeah, exactly, and it's one of those moments where, like, the first time it happened, you just don't know how to react. You're kind of like,
yeah,
oh, and it's quite heavy. It's quite emotional. You feel quite like. It's weird. It's
totally,
like
man, because your art has just been validated by a stranger, and it's like, wow, someone gets, what I'm saying here, and it's special, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I was just going to bring on to, speaking of, obviously, people going to shows and stuff, the sort of scene in New Zealand, on the sort of metal and rock side. What is it like over there? Because I've never been there. For one, obviously there are sort of few bands that come out of that area of the world, like yourselves.
Right. Yeah.
But what's the sort
You've seen Lord of the Rings, like?
Well, yeah, I've seen Lord of the Rings, so I have been there.
It's exactly like that.
Just hobbits.
No, there's a pretty staunch. There's a staunch rock audience here. We have a small population. We're just over 4 million, and the gigs that we drive an hour and a half to 2 hours to Auckland to go see. Machine Head or Kill Switch or Black Label Society or whoever's playing. Went and saw Ross the Boss a couple of months ago, and we didn't mind travelling for that sort of stuff. And rock shows aren't as we have a problem with venues, so the rock shows aren't as prevalent as we'd like. There isn't as much going on, so we try and make the most of what's there. But there's definitely a staunch rock and metal crowd here in New Zealand.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because, like you say, it's a small population, and I've spoken to like various people in like small countries in Europe and stuff, and I was just curious of just to see what that sort of scene was like. Obviously, you get the bands over there, like you said, you drive a couple of hours to see.
We miss out on lots, and lots of metalers from New Zealand are only too happy to jump on a plane and go to Bloodstock or Varkin or Download, just to see all their favourite bands in one day. People quite often, they'll go to Australia to see the Tea Party or whoever's playing, you just need to travel, and if you're a rock fan, you just do it. And our geographical proximity to Antarctica is a bit of a pain in the butt sometimes. Lots of bands go to Aussie and they won't come to New Zealand because it's just logistically too hard for them. So we're used to that down here, and we make our own entertainment and stuff.
I mean, you guys got out, get to go out. Obviously, you said you've toured around the world. With some big bands. Like I say, you were out with Hailstorm about a year and a half ago, and you have played with some other like notable bands.
Yeah, Disturbed, Motley Crue. We did a wee tour with Slash. That was just amazing. We've been really fortunate to. There's been no dickheads. Everyone's been so nice. You don't know what you're going to get when you meet these people, these other bands, and they've just been lovely. Disturbed, well, it's a fantastic bunch of people. Lovely, humble, nice folks. Hailstorm, we consider them like brothers and sisters to us now. That we've spent a lot of time with them, and we just get on like a house on fire. They're just lovely people.
That's amazing.
It's great because you kind of jump into the situation. You don't know what's going to happen, and you think, oh, well, worst case scenario, they might be total, utter, monsters. What's going to happen? So, and when they're pleasant, lovely, and charming, and delightful, it's just, man, this is just too cool. It's the best job in the world.
That is amazing, because I've had experiences where you've kind of joined a tour or gone on various shows, and some people, I don't like to name names, but they were a bit up themselves, I think the word is, and it really kind of ruins your image of them. And there's some they do say don't meet your heroes and stuff like that, but some of the people I have met, or most of them I should say, have been absolutely amazing.
Exactly. So
it's just kind of, I think there's a few odd ones here and there that kind of, or maybe it was a bad day for them. But
they're actually out there, Barnaby, because the Hailstorm crew was saying to us, you guys are so easy to work with, and it's like, why? We're just trying to do the right thing and not muck around, not get in anyone's way, do our thing. And they're like, but you guys are we've got an extra 2 hours downtime before the doors open because you guys have got your shit together, and you're so polite and so thankful. Hey man, we're Kiwis, and that's the way. But we're just grateful to be here. And they go, but we've been out on tour with all these other bands, and they've all just been a giant pain in the ass, and want this and want that, and we're, it's like, wow, really? We're just so grateful to be there. It's amazing. But there's some bands out there that are difficult, and we've had some stories too. But wow, you don't need to be. Cool. You really don't.
You don't. I mean,
when someone like Slash is totally personable and humble and down to earth and happy to sit down and chat to you, you're seeing your heroes on the same level, sort of thing, and they're just people, and they're lovely people, and they're in it because they're passionate. And that's why he's Slash, man, because he's passionate and he loves his music. He sure does.
Yeah.
And that's the common bond that, so many of these bands and musicians all have in common.
Yeah. No, exactly. So I got a couple more questions for you, if that's all right, and then I can let you get on with the rest of your evening, or night, as it is for you right now.
It's a bit hard to sleep these days, actually.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? My sleeping pattern's been off. Normally, I'd be up for work, but it's like work sent me home, and then I haven't been sleeping properly. So,
right. What time is it there at the moment?
It's currently 9:41 in the morning.
Oh, okay. Right.
So we're 13 hours apart, I believe. I looked it up as I was setting things up, so I was just making. You said it was like 10 o'clock. So,
dude, we've been bombarded with interviews, and I'm dealing with 4 different time zones and trying to convert it all to New Zealand daylight time, and so I've made a few muck-ups, so I do apologise.
No, don't worry about it. It's absolutely fine. Like I say, I'm up. I've got my kids up and everything, so we're awake. It's not like I was in bed and you interrupted me or anything. But no, I'm trying to keep a routine of getting up in the morning, getting dressed, and doing my usual sort of morning stuff along with the kids, and then they're getting on with their schoolwork at the moment. They've been allocated, so. And my work stuff, I say stuff loosely, doesn't start till about 11 o'clock. So,
lovely, lovely, jubbly.
I'm quite fortunate, we're quite fortunate in as much as that my work has sent me home with pay. and my wife is also, she's working from home, so they've got her set up with her, like, what she does. So
yeah, that's so good.
So I've not, like, thankfully not lost any money or, like, time, like, or job or anything like that, like a lot of people have. So it's horrific what's happening. It is. But, like, these last couple of questions, these are a bit more about yourself rather than the band. So the first one is what are your top 3 albums that have shaped the musician person that you've become today?
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. 3.
Yeah, 3.
Tough.
I know.
Okay. Well, can one be a greatest hits, because it was actually a greatest hits album that changed my life.
Yeah.
It was Black Sabbath's greatest hits, with the Bruegel painting on the front, the Triumph of Death on the front.
Yep.
And at the time, I was hard out listening to the Sex Pistols and Ramones, so I think I'm going to have to put Never Mind the Bollocks on there, because that definitely shaped young teenage me.
Yep.
Put me on the wrong track. And then discovering Black Sabbath through the greatest hits, and I thought that cover looks mighty scary. That looks awesome. I'm going to put that on, and I've never turned back. That's still my favourite band in the world. Other albums, it's a tough one. It could be Judas Priest Rock-a-Roller, or it could be the first CCR album, first Creedence album. I absolutely love that. It's so primitively recorded, but it's so special. I love it.
Excellent.
So I guess I dug deep into those albums, and I tried to learn to play alongside them, and just really immersed myself in the music, because it just had a switch with me. Yeah, I mean,
you can hear it in your sound, to be honest with you, the sort of groove and stuff like that, but also the sort of the punk mentality as well.
I kind of, I've sort of landed into this bass player role in this band. I'm normally a lead guitarist. I've got another band called World War IV.
Okay.
And it's a 3-piece, and I play and sing in it. And I've always sort of played guitar. My very first band, I played bass for 2 years, but I was awful. And so I picked up a guitar, and I wasn't that great at that either, to be honest. But with Devilskin, when we got together, we didn't have a bass player for our first jam. And we sort of had to trick Jenny into it, say, it's just a jam. We're not going to form a band or go out and do gigs or tour or anything like that. She's going, oh, good, because she'd just come out of a band bust up,
Okay.
So she didn't really. She was going, absolutely no commitment here. I'm just going to go along for one jam.
Yeah.
And so I says, okay, well, I've got a bass guitar, so I'll play bass for this one jam, but that's it, And 10 years later, I'm still on the bass, and I'm still playing it through my guitar rig.
and you guys are still a band as well, so it's
we're still a band.
No commitment needed. It's fine. It's like
yeah. And the weird thing is, we had a drummer for the first year who played in diner dance bands, who had never really done anything sort of hard rock or anything like that. He'd had to have an operation, and couldn't do this small tour that I'd booked. And so my son Nick was 15 at the time, and I said, Nick, you need to join the band and play this tour with us. And he's like, nah, no way. And I was like, we're going to be grounded then. 6 months. So I press ganged him into joining the band, and once he'd played, we just looked at each other and went, wow. Well, we couldn't go back.
Yeah.
And God bless Rob, our original drummer. He's a lovely guy. He passed away a few years ago, but Nick has just stepped up, and it's phenomenal just having my son in the band, and I get goosebumps at rehearsal from his drumming. It's like, man. And he's really come he's a multi-instrumentalist, and I'd love to say he got that from me, but he didn't get it from me. And Jenny's just gone on, a couple of years ago now, but she's married my wife's little brother.
Okay.
So she's my sister-in-law and Nick's auntie.
Wow.
Then everyone sees a picture of the band and goes, "Are you and Nail twins?" Because we got shaved heads and red goatees.
Yeah.
And we'll string them along for as long as it takes. But we're a tight unit now, and after 10 years, we're starting to get to know each other, and it's we all feel really confident about these songs. And here's a trippy thing, Barnaby. I have to tell you about this. The track 1 on the album, is called "Do You See Birds," and we nearly didn't make the cut for the album. And I pushed real hard for it, and so did our producer, and we talked everyone into it and got to record it. And as soon as we'd recorded it, Jenny went, I think that should be track 1 on the album. And we went, yeah. And the crazy thing is that the lyrics I wrote for this about a year ago, and it was about being confined and being able to look out the window and see birds flying and envying their freedom, their liberty, but not being able to get anywhere near it. And how weirdly prophetic is that? Just before the album comes out, the whole world's in lockdown. Yeah. So,
That's amazing.
I'm honestly I'm no prophet or anything, mate. But
are you sure?
It's just absolutely crap timing for the entire planet. I realise that. But it's we all dug pretty deep on this album, I think, and we've got a song called Bright Lights, and Jenny's delivery on that is really off the hook. I think she was singing about being on the road actually in Europe and missing a baby and missing her husband and stuff. And the song Sweet Release, I wrote that about a young guy who took his own life here in Hamilton while he was in mental health care. And his parents have been fighting for 5 years to get some sort of accountability from the hospital and to make sure it won't happen to anyone else, and it's just been this horrible, drawn-out tragedy that's been unfolding in our newspapers here in the town that we live in for 5 years. And, one night I just sat down and wrote it all down and went to rehearsal, and it just bang appeared, and basically we recorded it as it happened, on the album. So it was one of those songs that kind of wrote itself, and I went and saw the boys' parents just after we'd recorded it and told them about it and showed them the words and played them the song and asked basically if their permission to use their story and their son's story. And they were totally overwhelmed and really grateful, and it was super emotional. It was one of the hardest sort of situations I've been in, playing the song to someone, and they're just all tearing up but it was, again, cathartic to be able to write it and put it on the album and purge ourselves of the stuff and the song's about loss, so there's a lot of people can relate to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's like it's going to give me a different light listening to the album now, like knowing more about the stories behind them. I mean, context is everything. Sometimes it's when you find out the song that you've known for ages, and then one day you find out the story behind it, it just trips you out of it, makes you that much closer to it. Yeah, no, definitely. I was going to ask, obviously having your son in the band, I didn't realise he was, I didn't know if you were brothers or if you were father and son.
No.
I've had
he's trick photography.
Yeah, it's those special filters, isn't it? Airbrushing, I think they call it. No, I was just curious, because I've had a few. I spoke to someone yesterday. Their dad's in the band with them, and I had a band. How long? It was probably a couple of years ago. Where it was actually mother and son. They were kind of an industrial metal band.
Wow.
She had she's got a very operatic voice. And they've they're like that sort of relationship within the band. And I was just curious, obviously your family, essentially, all of you. Because most bands do, they become a family. You become, maybe not through blood, but through just sort of
totally, through sweat and tears.
Yeah, exactly. And does that complicate anything when you're writing, or if you're having any kind of discussions within the band, or do you have sort of father and son outside the practice room, and inside the practice rehearsal rooms it's Devilskin?
It's weird because he calls me Paul when we're out and about with the band, but at home he calls me Dad, and it's something he just switches in and out of, and it's kind of weird, but we've got a really cool dynamic. We're best mates, and I've got such a huge amount of respect for the man he's become, and especially the musician he's become. He works tirelessly. He's got another band called Seas of Conflict.
Okay. Dude,
you got to check them out. They've got some amazing videos, and it's pretty heavy. It's great stuff. He doesn't stop. So we have this cool relationship. When we're playing together, we have the synchronicity. We don't need to look. I know what he's going to do. He knows what I'm going to do, and it's amazing. I've been in a lot of bands over the years, and I've never ever been in a band with a drummer like Nick, and he's outstanding. He works really hard, and he just pours everything into it.
Excellent.
And he's got such a great heart.
Yeah, cool. Would you say the same about you?
I really hope so, but
sorry.
but he might not, because we're going to be locked in this house for the foreseeable future together. So that's what's going to happen. But no, honestly, it's a real privilege to be able to play in a band with Nick, and apart from being an outstanding drummer, I think he's probably the perfect bandmate as well. He doesn't snore. I do all the snoring for us. And he's clean and tidy, and I've never had a drummer in a band that was clean and tidy.
That's a rarity.
Like I say, I've been in a lot of bands over the years, and it always seems to be drummer issues. There's always something with drummer issues. My first band, we went through like 9 or 10 of them. There's a little bit Spinal Tap. There's a whole lot Spinal Tap, actually. But, and what I keep saying to my friends now, you're having drummer issues, grow your own.
Yeah.
Grow your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I was the snorer in my band, so I know what that's like. Woke up to many of a dead arm and things, so No, I feel very lucky and very privileged to be able to play. And Nail's outstanding. His guitar playing he's done some tremendous work on this album, and I absolutely love his sound and what he does and the way he brings the songs to life. And Jenny, well, she just makes people's jaws drop. At live gigs, we learned pretty early on that Nail and I had to step back from the microphones when Jenny's roaring or growling, because people would come up afterwards and go, "Oh man, you guys growled. That was good when you guys did that growling." And it's like, dude, I wish. It's Jenny, and they go, "No." That's
amazing. Cute little Jenny, yeah. So she's outstanding. Her vocal performance on this album, we were sitting this couple of times, we're sitting in the control room, you're getting tears and you're getting goosebumps, and it's like, man, this just feels so special and so right.
Yeah. No, it's a solid album, and I wish you all the luck with it. I've got one question for you now.
Sure,
last one.
Yeah.
What are your hobbies away from music? So what do you do when you're not playing bass, playing guitar, anything like that? What do you do to sort of, unwind or get away from it?
I listen to music mostly.
Okay.
I've got a motorbike, man, and I absolutely love my bike. And really, really lucky that there's a Harley dealership in our hometown that just absolutely loves Devilskin, and so they've gone all out and they sponsor the band now. So they've given me this like 2019 Street Bob, and I'll get to customize it exactly how I want. And they've given me that to ride for a year. So
that's amazing.
And they've given Nail a bike as well. So that's my big buzz, man. Just riding. I love riding.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's amazing, though. Getting sponsored by a Harley Davidson
dude. That's you wouldn't even dare dream about that stuff. Never ever. And when the shop approached me, because I was don't tell them, but I was about 2 weeks away from buying the same bike, and they've had this big sale on. I already spoken to the wife, and it was, she gave me the green light. I was probably about 2 weeks away from doing it, and I'm in the shop, and the manager goes, "Oh, can you come into my office?" I went, "Oh shit, is this about all the drool that I'm leaving on your floor?" And he's going, "No, man, we want to sponsor your band." And I'm going, "This is a wind-up, mate." And I'm looking around for cameras. This is a wind-up, right? And it took him like 20 minutes to convince me that it's for real. And, one of the guys that worked in the shop grew up basically listening to the Axe Attack, the radio show that I do, the metal show here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And seeing all my bands play around town, he's hounded them for years to sponsor me or the band. And, with the profile that we've got and the synergy between our audience and the Harley Davidson fraternity, it was a no-brainer for them. And it's like, wow, I'm still pinching myself. I've got this gorgeous bike in the shed. It's unreal.
Nice. That's amazing. I like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, man.
When it happens organically, that's the best thing. Like, I found like chasing endorsements and stuff always to be kind of like, I'm just chasing free stuff, and it just it feels a bit weird when, but when they approach you out of the blue and you're like, okay, are you sure? Are you like, this amp's free? Are you sure? Like stuff like that. And you're like, okay, that's great, but that's amazing.
Totally. And it's fully customized. There's some photos on the Devilskin page, on the Facebook page, and stuff. And wow, it's a beast. And there's no going undercover on it. You know, it's got Devilskin all over it. It says Harley Devilskin on the tank. And I was going, hey, you can't do that. And they're going, no, we've already cleared it with the states. And wow,
that's amazing.
That's crazy. So we've got some really good support here in New Zealand. We've got some great friends, and we've got, a great circle of people around us. And at the moment, we're super excited about this album, but we're totally aware of the state of the world at the moment. And, if we can bring a little bit of, relief to some people from the anxiety and the pressure that they're feeling and the uncertainty and stuff through our music, then, man, we're all for it, because, we're doing the same thing. We're looking to music to heal ourselves at the moment.
Yep, definitely. And you will help people. Like it's a solid album. There's some great, meaning behind it as well. It's not something sort of like disposable. It's something meaningful.
Yeah,
so
we just can't. We've never wanted to ever write trite songs that are about nothing, disposable songs. It's got to be something that you feel, and something that is important to you and means something, So, I mean, there's a time and a place for bubblegum pop music, I'm sure, but but for us, we take our songwriting and its effect on people really seriously. We've got a song on this album called "Be Like the River," which is the title of our second album. But that song didn't make the cut for the album "Be Like the River," so I've put it on the album "Red."
Okay.
Which continues the theme of our first album, "We Rise," and the song that we named the album after didn't make the cut for the album either. So we put that on "Be Like the River." So we've got a theme going on.
Yeah. That's
but
good.
The song "Be Like the River," it's all about, being true to yourself. Be like the river that cuts through the stone.
Yeah.
Follow your heart, follow your direction, and just keep pushing and don't give up.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Paul, thank you very much.
It's going to be, you're more than welcome, man. Thank you.
Absolutely appreciate the time you spent with me, and I hope obviously this whole world thing passes and you guys can get out on the road, and hopefully I'll see you in the UK.
Mate, there's going to be some partying, when the dust settles, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. we just had to pull a big list of dates, UK and Europe dates, and so we're pretty gutted, but, we're going to make it up to everyone, and we're going to get back over there as soon as we can. And, we just, for the meantime, we just hope people are safe and well, and if they want to climb inside our songs and join us, then come along for the ride,
All right, man. Thank you very much. And like I say, have a good rest of your evening.
Yeah, we'll do, bro. Let's keep in touch.
Yes, definitely. Have a good one, man.
Thanks, bro. Cheers. See ya. Bye-bye.